THF Zoo, also known as Bay Zoo or OTF Bebe, is a rapper signed to Lil Durk's OTF label. But before the music, Zoo was well respected in the streets and beat a murder charge that would have put him behind bars for life. Let's take a look at the come up and career of THF Zoo. THF Zoo grew up in the Cabrini Green houses, the notorious projects on the north side of Chicago. The building was created to provide low-income housing to working-class residents of the city, but it eventually became overrun with crime and violence and was known as one of the worst areas in the city. In 1995, the Chicago Housing Authority began demolishing the project, with the final building being torn down in 2011. This led many residents to move to other parts of the city, including THF Zoo. His family eventually relocated to the Woodlawn neighborhood, where he spent most of his teenage years. He jumped off the porch at a young age and was in the streets at just 12 years old. He joined a set called THF 06, or Trigger Happy Family, which is made up of Mickey Cobras and Black Disciples. They're allied with other BD sets nearby, including O Block and 600. At just 18, the rapper got involved in a murder case that almost cost him his freedom, but police didn't catch up to him until years later. On July 5, 2009, a 21-year-old man named Dominic Barnes from the 600 block of East 51st Street was shot and killed in the Bronxville neighborhood in Chicago. The victim was walking down the street around 10:15 a.m. on the 4700 block of South Forestville Avenue when two suspects ran up on him and opened fire. Police were on the lookout for multiple people believed to be involved in the shooting, but no arrests were made. In January 2014, THF Zoo was arrested for unlawful use of a weapon. Around that time, police began to connect him with the murder of Dominic Barnes from 5 years before. Not long after being released on bail, Zoo was arrested for murder. Because of his pending gun charge, he wasn't allowed to post bail for the murder, so he was forced to sit in jail and await trial. When they picked him up for the murder, THF Zoo was staying at the Orland Park home of Durk Banks, aka Lil Durk. Durk was also brought into custody after police found 2 illegal weapons in the home. Police seized a Glock 45 caliber handgun and 11 rounds, as well as a Springfield 45 handgun and 13 rounds. The guns was in plain sight near Durk on the kitchen island when police officers arrived, so both men got arrested. According to police reports, Durk admitted to possessing the weapons and told officers that, "I got those pipes because niggas always be trying to take my bands." Durk was charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon and denied bail because that was his third weapons charge within a few years. But his lawyer claimed there was 9 other people in the home and the weapons could have belonged to any of them. He also pointed out that Durk had spent more than 150 hours doing community service for Cure Violence at the University of Illinois at Chicago and used his platform to speak out against gang violence in Chicago. So he was eventually let off with 18 months of probation in order to do an additional 50 hours of volunteer work. But his homie THF Zoo ain't get off as easy and had to stand trial for the murder of Dominic Barnes. In court, prosecutors claimed the victim was standing outside when THF Zoo approached him and asked what hood he was from. When Barnes answered, Zoo pulled out a gun and shot him multiple times. The rapper and his unknown co-defendant then went through his pockets while he laid injured and took some money before fleeing the scene. Multiple witnesses identified him as the one who fired the kill shot, and at least one reported seeing him with a gun immediately after the shooting. But the evidence presented by the prosecutors wasn't enough to convict him of murder, so the charges was eventually dropped and he got out in 2018. While he was in jail, he allegedly ran into some Opps and got into a fight that left him with a broken jaw. He later confirmed this rumor on IG Live with Mubu Crump, a rapper from King Louie's Man Up or Band Up crew. Mubu Crump was also cool with 051 Melly, one of the main shooters from 051 Money Gang, who THF was known to beef with. On the live, Crump tried to claim that THF Zoo had his jaw wired shut because of what they did to him in jail.
You just had your shit in the wire.
Internet whooping?
Your shit was in the wire in the county, baby.
I never wore wire.
On
Never had wires in my jaw.
Zoo denied the allegations that he had to have his jaw wired shut, but confirmed he did have a broken jaw.
So what was wrong with your jaw? Your jaw wasn't broke? Was your jaw broke?
I never had wires in my jaw.
Was your jaw broke?
Yeah, my shit was broke. I never had wires though.
In another live with 051 Melly, Zoo claimed it was Shawty Foe from the east side of Chicago who broke his jaw. According to Zoo, Shawty Foe sucker punched him from behind while he was brushing his teeth. But after he did it, the whole deck went crazy and beat his ass. THF Zoo and 051 Melly had a strange relationship. Even though they was Opps, who both lost homies in a war between their gangs, they also had mutual respect for each other. They often appeared on live together, talking about what was going on in the streets of Chicago. THF and 051 have been beefing for several years, with both sides losing many members in the war. One of the most high-profile killings was the murder of a rapper from 051 named Lil Mark. Lil Mark dropped a diss track aimed at several members of the BDs and was murdered just 3 days later. No one was ever arrested for Lil Mark's murder, but it was supposedly committed by members of 600 and THF. After Lil Mark's death, 051 Melly allegedly went on a killing spree that took the lives of several members of OTF and 051, including Durk's manager Chino and his cousin Newski, as well as a 15-year-old named THF Raheem. THF Raheem wasn't just in the same gang as Zoo, he was actually his stepson. Zoo and Raheem's mom had been seeing each other, and at first, Raheem was against it, but eventually, he started to like Zoo and looked at him like a role model. So, Raheem's death hit Zoo extra hard. A dude named Arius Finch, aka 051 Area from 051 Young Money, was later arrested for Raheem's murder, but it's been rumored that Melly was the one who actually pulled the trigger. But even though Zoo and Melly were sworn enemies, they still chopped it up from time to time on IG Live. After Melly was murdered in 2019, Zoo went on live and said he missed Melly because he was a real one.
I miss Melly, man, on Photo Grade.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
I miss my boy, man. That was a real right there, Joe.
On May 24, 2018, Melly and Mubu Crump were both at a house party in the 6800 block of South Morgan Street in the Inglewood neighborhood in the South Side. They were standing outside when shots was fired from a car driving by. Crump was shot twice in the arm and twice in the torso and rushed to the University of Chicago Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Melly also got shot in the arm and grazed in the head, but he survived. Leading up to his death, Mubu Crump was dissing members of THF and OTF. May 24th was the anniversary of THF Raheem's death, and supposedly, members of THF were looking for revenge that night. It just so happened that they caught two of their main ops in the same location. Not long after that, THF Zoo got picked up for an outstanding warrant for an unrelated charge and spent about a month locked up. While he was inside, he met up with King Von, who was fighting a murder charge. Zoo knew exactly what Von was going through, having just beaten his own case, so they became good friends in the pen. Von was already writing raps while locked up, and it was around that time that Zoo started taking music more seriously. Von ended up beating the murder, and Zoo was released around the same time. Not long after that, they collaborated on the track Beat That Body, where they trade bars about their experience of beating a murder charge. The track racked up millions of views and exposed the world to King Von for the first time. THF Zoo got arrested again in April 2019 for reckless conduct and for having a weapon near a school or park. Police caught him with a rifle and a shotgun on South Costner Avenue, and he spent a few days locked up before bonding out. Less than a month later, Zoo was arrested again for charges connected to the same 2009 murder of Dominic Barnes. Police must have gained new info and thought they could make the charges stick this time, but after spending close to a year locked up, he was eventually released on March 22nd, 2020. Almost losing his freedom for a second time must have made THF Zoo start thinking about his priorities, because as soon as he got out, he started taking music more seriously and began dropping tracks more consistently. Songs like Streets Bleed Murder, Safe, and Do It For Von have racked up hundreds of thousands of views. Plus, he's been featured with other members of OTF on songs like Sip Again and Get Backers. Since being released from jail, THF Zoo has kept a low profile and avoided drama in the streets. But that don't mean he'll sit back and be disrespected, even when it's from his own homies. While Zoo was locked up, another rapper from his set named THF Billa did an interview where he spoke on the beef between Zoo and Mubu Crump. In the interview, Billa made it seem like he had to step in and defend Zoo because Crump was bigger than him. He claimed Zoo was only 5'3", 130 pounds, and Crump was a big dude. So Billa stepped up to help out his homie.
He 5'3", 130 pounds. This my size. You trying to get into it with him, get into it with me.
Zoo ain't appreciate the way that Billa phrased it and clapped back as soon as he got out. He accused Billa of sneak dissing and claimed he was 5'10", 200 pounds and could handle his own beef. He also told Billa to take the THF out his name and accused him of speaking on his beef just for clout. He also posted a message on IG where he took shots at Billa and accused him of being a rat who never touched anybody in the hood. Billa clapped back accusing Zoo of eating out of Durk's garbage and claiming that he only sided with them because of the fame. But other than that, THF Zoo has stayed out of trouble and focused on his music career and his kids. He made it a lot farther than many OGs in Chicago, so hopefully he can stay focused and avoid any more petty beef that may threaten his life or freedom.